Good morning, everybody. My name is Ruben van Achter. I am the Business Development Manager Program for Veeam, VMware, and Wasabi at SYNNEX Belgium and Luxembourg. Welcome at our Partner Academy webinar called Protect Microsoft 365 Data Your Way. Our goal for today is to present, compare, and help you sell Veeam's backup for Microsoft 365 solutions, both the self-managed software product, also known as VBM for Microsoft 365, and the more recent addition to their portfolio called Veeam Data Cloud for Microsoft 365, a BaaS or backup as a service solution, which will soon also be available within the VCSP partner program. Today, the presentations will be given by Yvonne Hughes, who is a VDC sales specialist at Veeam. And the other two parts will be presented by two SYNNEX colleagues. One of them is Thierry van den Berge, and then last but not least, Marnix van Bout. Now, before we're going to start with the presentation, I would like to encourage everybody to make this session as interactive as possible. So if you would have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or pose your questions in the chat box, or you could wait until the end of the session where we provided some time for a Q&A. The first part is going to be presented by Yvonne. So whenever you're ready, Yvonne, the floor is yours.
Perfect. So, hi everyone. As Ruben said, and Jevon Hughes, so it's Jevon, not Yvonne.
Jevon, sorry.
I'm the Veeam Data Cloud Sales Specialist. What does that even mean? So I live and breathe Veeam's first-party backup as a service solution for M365, handling all commercial queries, managing partner relationships, meeting technical requirements, you name it. I'm the point of contact for anything VDC related. But just going back a step, going to do a bit of an origin story here. So about 18 months ago, I was working with a company called CT4. So VCSB, so part of that community, and Veeam's, done an amazing job, really championing its ecosystem with service providers. You guys effectively have really drove Veeam to the heights they're at now, really maximizing that brand, and spreading the word and spreading the value of Veeam and the products that it takes to market. But I think Veeam's known for some time, and it acknowledged that it was missing a trick when it didn't have its own, first-party backup as a service solution. So, I was fortunate enough to be part of the team that was acquired from Cirrus within the CT4 group, and that was obviously later rebranded as Veeam Data Cloud. But I've got to say, it's night and day working this side of Veeam to outside of Veeam, and a lot of that's a testament to the channel, right? A lot of testament to the partners and that ecosystem I talked about, because we've got specialists, we've got subject matter experts who really live and breathe Veeam and bleed green like us, and it's amazing to see, and it's amazing to work with. But just go to the next slide, please, Thierry. Veeam acknowledged that there was a trend. There's a lot more uptake in the market where organizations, our customer base, were looking to consume their backup technology as a service, as SaaS. You've only got to look at Veeam's data protection trends reports. You can see all these statistics, and you can find them all in there. But 88% of organizations, are likely to consume a backup technology as a service. When you unpack that and look at it from the other lens in terms of, the ransomware and the malicious actors and how they, tackle the market, a lot of organizations where they're most vulnerable is their M365 environment. Hence why there's so much, so topical right now for organizations looking at an M365 backup solution. And this is where we're going to be talking about Veeam Data Cloud and talking to the capabilities of that solution, but more importantly, talking how simple and easy it is to use, and simple and easy it is for you as a partner, as a reseller, to sell as well. Move on, Thierry. So Veeam Data Cloud, again, it's been rebranded. There are a number of different flavors or different workloads that we do manage within the VDC platform. Today, M365, Azure, Vault. I can say that there is a commitment within 2025. There will be 8 new workloads within that platform. In Q1, there will be Entra ID, and following on, there'll be Salesforce, and there'll be a number of different workloads which Veeam will talk about in time. But VDC seems to be at the epicenter of everything that Veeam's doing right now. And rightly so, because it's a very simple and easy solution, for customers. But Veeam as a business, this is the fastest growing product that Veeam's ever had. Veeam's investors, insight partners, is the fastest growing product they've ever seen themselves. So we're going to be up to 2.5 million users will have been backing up their M365 through VDC over the past 12 months. So it's phenomenal growth. And again, that couldn't be achieved without the partners that we currently work with. But if you're a new partner and you're not currently on this VDC train, then get on it, because this is going to grow arms and legs, and this is going to be at the center of everything for Veeam. It's going to be Veeam's flagship offering for the next 2-3 years. But why is it so successful at the moment? Well, I think if you look at most of Veeam's products, they're all very functional. They're all often meet all the security and compliance requirements, and they do what they say on the tin. Thing with VDC, it's built on top of VBM 365, which again, Veeam's flagship M365 product's been successful for a number of years. The analogy that I always use is that's the engine, and what VDC is the car, and that's how we can really drive this as a service. But I think to the customers and how we can translate value is a solution that can talk to different stakeholders at different level in the IT value chain, because it's a very simple and intuitive solution to use, and that simplicity piece is really resonating in the market at the moment. I think when if we do a demo in a little while, you will attest that it is a very straightforward and easy offering to follow. The final piece around this is its licensing model. It's all unlimited storage, unlimited retention. It's a simple price per user per annum. We can guarantee data sovereignty. We'll do, that concierge type onboarding where Veeam will do all the heavy lifting, and Veeam will really drive this as a service. And that's going to be the same for all of the VDC offerings, not just M365. Thierry, do you want to move on? Our biggest win theme, our biggest, should we say, unique selling point, shall I say, is the brand. We're number one backup vendor in the world right now. But if you dig into the data in the M365 arena, we're actually number one by market share as well. If you go to the next slide, Thierry, backing up 23 million users and growing. The next vendor along is at 9-10 million. So again, real testament to the ecosystem we've built, the community of service providers and partners we work with who've taken us on this journey. But I also think it's a testament to not only the product, but it's a testament to the relationship with Microsoft. And if you go to the next slide, Thierry, Veeam's always had a strategic collaboration with Microsoft, going back to as being a gold partner. We were one of the first backup vendors to be working with Microsoft Teams. The game changed last year when Microsoft announced they were going to be bringing out their own native backup tool. And, there was uproar in the market. I don't think they realized what this was actually going to mean, what this was going to mean for both the vendors, the partners, because historically Microsoft has always sat on the fence around backup. And it's only when you look into the small print, it will say, if you want to be backing up your data beyond X, Y, and Z period with a retention policy, you need to engage a third-party backup vendor, enter Veeam. Then with bringing its own backup solution to market, it really just reinforced the need for backing up your M365 environment. I think globally now there's 70% white space. So 70% of all organizations do not have an M365 backup solution in place. Microsoft bringing their own tooling out, this will change because it will drive more focus, drive more awareness. But make no mistake, whilst Microsoft has the capability to sell that solution, they want an ecosystem play. So they're working with strategic vendors to really drive the value of their MBS offering, Microsoft Backup Storage. So just going back to November last year, Veeam was selected of 4 other vendors to be an early launch partner. So what we did with their Microsoft MBS solution, we incorporated it into the Veeam Data Cloud platform. And again, I'll go through some of those capabilities in a moment. But off the back of that, we signed a commitment with Microsoft earlier this year, strategic partnership. You can Google search it. There's a lot of deliverables around how we're going to be co-developing different solutions and piggybacking off the back of Microsoft's latent innovations and then driving all of that incorporated into Veeam's offerings as well. So there's a commitment to co-developed AI solutions to incorporate into the Veeam offering. But fundamentally, Veeam wants to work more strategically with Microsoft at a global level. And what this means for yourselves and your customers is that, when they're talking about different solutions in the market to be considering of choice for backup and recovery technology, they probably are going to look at Microsoft, but they need not to because we've incorporated that Microsoft offering within our Veeam solution. So all the capabilities plus some are going to be in Veeam Data Cloud. Next slide, please, Thierry. I really like this infographic because it really depicts the as a service approach, how everything is included. So if you look to the left-hand side of the slide, this is everything that Veeam will take care of as part of this as a service model. So all the servers, the proxy management, the unlimited storage, limited retention, all your infrastructure. No longer will, as a normal Veeam software, will you be responsible to manage all the updates. It will all just be done automatically for you as part of the solution. And again, everything to the right is what the end user or the partner can control on the UI, on the platform itself. Next slide, Thierry. So talking about VDC, I'm going to assume that some of the partners that are in the room right now, you've probably come across Veeam Data Cloud and you've seen maybe a demo or so and understand its core capabilities and where it shines against some of the market. What we've done is we've incorporated Microsoft's MBS solution and we've then decoupled Veeam Data Cloud into 3 distinct offerings. So the default solution is now been rebranded as Veeam Data Cloud Flex. So that's working with the Microsoft Graph API framework the same way all the BaaS solutions in the market are. It's all about granularity and control. It has the leading number of restore capabilities in the M365 backup space. There's a lot we can do in terms of restore locations and where that data can reside. We can guarantee data sovereignty. There's a lot of flexibility what we can do on the backup configuration and on the restoration side. And we've got the advanced role-based access control, so you can really separate your security and permissions across the user group who are going to be managing the environment. Then we've got Express. So Express is taking that Microsoft backup storage solution, incorporate into the Veeam Data Cloud platform. Now, the great thing about Express is it's more than just a backup solution because it has real speed and scale capabilities in terms of the data ingestion and the restoration speeds. We're talking 20 to 30 times faster than Flex or faster than any other BaaS solution in the market. It goes from being a backup tool to a backup and disaster recovery tool in one. So our Express offering is taking that Microsoft backup storage capability. The solution still resides within the Microsoft boundary as opposed to in Veeam's. There isn't the same retention flexibility as with Flex, but in terms of speed of the data ingestion and speed of restorations, is night and day. In the event, if something happened, if there was an event that needed to be investigated, or there was a ransomware attack, we can restore data en masse very quickly. Just click to the right, Thierry. And then the third offering is the best of both worlds. It's a truly integrated solution. So you've got the capabilities of Flex, where we can be your average day to day. If you want to be restoring an item from one Outlook mailbox to another, or one SharePoint site to another within a tenancy, we can do that with Flex. We've got that granularity and control within that solution. And then Express, as I've just said, you've got the real speed and scale powered by Microsoft Backup Storage Solution, all within the Veeam Data Cloud platform. And Premium, it is exactly what it says in the tin. It is the premium offering. But what we can do with Premium is we don't have to be a one size fits all. You don't have to have all of your users select Flex, Express, or Premium. We can do a hybrid where you could have a subset of your users within the organization that's being backed up on a Premium, a subset on Flex, and so on. So that's really where Veeam Data Cloud is going at the moment with these new offerings, and it's really taken off. And the feedback in the market around Premium and Express has been very positive. So if you do get the opportunity to talk about Premium Express with a customer, or if there's any requirement for that, please do engage us, and we can talk through all the technical nuances of that. Next slide, Thierry. Go again. I think we covered off some of this. So why Veeam? Why VDC? In addition to what we've just covered off, I don't think it can be overstated, how simplistic and easy to use the solution is. Point and click interface, everything's 2-3 clicks away. And I think that really resonates specifically in the SMB space. Ultimately, a lot of the organizations, as we know, they're just paying for an outcome. They just want their data to be backed up, and they know they can treat it as insurance. If something happens, they've got a capability, they've got a pathway where they can go and restore that data. Guaranteeing data sovereignty. We're in a time now where data security is a lot higher up the priority list than maybe it was 5 to 10 years ago. With VDC, we do have the flexibility where we can point where the data needs to reside. So if we've got customers where there's specific data sovereignty requirements where the data needs to reside in X, Y, and Z location, we can do that with Veeam Data Cloud. If you're managing a multinational organization and that data needs to be decoupled and reside within that specific geo for those specific users, we can do that with Veeam Data Cloud. Last but certainly not least, where we see Veeam as a real winner, and we have a huge amount of success, is Veeam's data freedom strategy. And I'm talking about the exit strategy specifically. It's one of the only vendors in the market that if we were to switch off the service or move away from Veeam, Veeam will handle and give that customer their data upon request, and they can have access to that data in Veeam's free toolings, in Veeam's Community Edition, where they can still recover the data from that environment. I don't think anybody has a more succinct and transparent exit strategy in the market. And I think that really resonates with Veeam's overall data freedom standpoint in the marketplace. How am I doing for time, Ruben? Okay.
We're okay.
Am I okay to share then? Just to do a little demo now?
Yeah, that's fine. You want to share? I'll stop sharing quickly.
Yeah.
Then
Stuff. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Right, good stuff. So this is one of the end user environments. I've got elevated privileges as an admin, so I can see the end user environment in this instance for a test environment. But effectively, this is Veeam Data Cloud for M365. It's a very similar UI for the other workloads that we can manage and will be managing. And then there's an ambition in the new year where it will all be on one unified platform and you can manage your different workloads all through one portal. But today we've got a series of reporting widgets, backup status, retention policies, protected versus unprotected accounts. We can see who are the high storage offenders across the tenancy. We can also see the user activity log. So anything that's performed on VDC, obviously there's a criticality around what we're doing in terms of the nature of the data that we're backing up and protecting. We can manage and use this tool as an audit trail. So all activity in the world of restores or backup configuration is going to be captured on this user activity log. And this is going to be retained indefinitely. Quickly, backup configuration, very, very straightforward. Clicking on a backup job, an existing backup job, and we can click on this on this nested table. We can see all the current jobs that are currently running. We can interrogate these individual sessions themselves, so we can get really granular in terms of what we want to be interrogating on the platform. The beauty and the value really of VDC, whilst there's a really granular capability in what you can do in the world of backup configuration and restores, that really wasn't its intention to begin with. It was how can we drive, a more automated service, driving a better customer experience. So there's a lot we can do in terms of setting up, outbound notifications as and when something actionable takes place in the system. But in terms of setting up a backup policy, it's as simple as policy name, description, decide which repository, which location you want that data to reside. Then you select what you'd actually like to back up across your M365 environment. Everything is select, deselect. It's all wizard driven on the solution. This would be typical that it would take an age during the demo, but effectively you'll have the capability to select or deselect what you want to be backing up, whether that's users, groups, sites, teams, you name it. And then it's a case of selecting what frequency you'd like that backup job to run. Most instances we run our backup jobs, or the clients run their backup jobs once a day. There's a suite of reporting that we can leverage within VDC. We've got the advanced search capability, which is built on top of the discovery tool that some people might be familiar with in VBM 365. And then in terms of actually performing restores, it's very, very simple and straightforward. We've got a standardized approach whereby if we click on any of the M365 components, it will push out this sidebar menu where it's all very hierarchical in terms of the mailbox, so the user, the mailbox, the folders, the subfolders, and then an item level at which we can interrogate and perform, single restores or multi restores through the front end. So if we just go to Joe, we can restore mailbox, we can restore a folder. Because I'm an admin, I should be able to view the body of the email also as well. So there's a lot of capability in there in terms of what you can do. Just load the body of the email. And similar to all Veeam products, we do have the time selector, so we can interrogate historic restore points as well. Again, I'm just whizzing through this, I'm conscious of time. Come on. I think if anybody had better internet than me, it should be instantaneous. I think it's because of that 10 meg file. Right, I'm going to wait for that. But in terms of performing any restores, it's a very straightforward approach. The user journey, you can restore to original location, you can restore to another location within that tenancy, whether it's a mailbox, a SharePoint site, you name it. We can restore as a local computer download or download in the background if it's a large file. Again, just whizzing through this, everything you can drive through a filter search. The settings, one of the things that we always get positive feedback around is our advanced role-based access control. So we've already got templated predefined roles and user profiles within the system, which is great on the one hand, but if you want to create custom roles, you absolutely can do. Everything is toggle driven in terms of the different permissions that you want to be enabling on VDC. And then once you've got all your roles set up, in terms of actually adding a new user, it's all very straightforward. Email, first name, last name, send welcome email, and send the role itself on VDC. Like all of the SaaS applications, we've got our own support center. We've got the knowledge base. You'll have a line into your account manager. You'll also have a line into a technical VDC SE if there is any technical clarifications, and that all comes as part of the solution. So yeah, that's VDC. Gonna stop sharing now. I'm happy to field any questions if there are any questions that come through. And if there's not, I'll probably hand over to Thierry.
Yeah, I don't see any questions coming into the chat. Maybe later, but Jerry, feel free to go on.
You still got a slide, I think, Joan, you wanna?
I think just this is the final slide.
Yeah.
So you can just really see from this slide the visual differences, how it, VDC has been aesthetically improved against the VBM offering. It is still very much Veeam backup for Microsoft M365 under the hood, in terms of all the capabilities and what we can actually do and on the VDC platform. But the difference with VDC in comparison to VBM is it is a very agile offering, and that reflects also the development team as well. We are moving very quickly. We work to fortnightly sprints, which why am I talking about this? It's really important for us to continuously get feedback from our channel, from our community, because we do want to drive not only the best experience, but we also know that there's going to be stakeholders across the channel who know a thing or two, and where we can be adding more value if we make certain enhancements or certain feature developments. So there is an ideation platform that sits behind Veeam Data Cloud. So again, we're continuously trying to take feedback or encourage feedback from our customers and from our partners. But yeah, just recapping everything else, this Veeam Data Cloud is as a service. So Veeam will drive this solution for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jevon. I don't see any questions at this moment in the chat, so I think we're fine. Thank you for the great explanation and the demo. My first part is a small feature comparison, but I think some of the main topics Jevon already talked about or mentioned during his presentation. I won't go through everything, but this is a public document. The link is in the presentation, so the presentation will be sent afterwards, like a link to the recording of this session. So I won't go through every detail or read aloud every point, but just know that with the offering, the 3 versions we have, it makes a difference which version you select, because it's going to use different APIs, and a lot of features are depending on the APIs used, and like Jevon mentioned already. So it makes a difference if you choose for Express or Flex or Premium, of course. Express, the big advantage is there the speed of the things and the APIs going, but it will give you less features. One of the main things is know your requirements, and if you really need a granular resource, for instance, Express version won't give you that. Then you need to go to the Flex or Premium solution. Also, the RPOs, you're not as flexible, or you can't choose any possibility, but there are some retention period also limitation like 4 or 8 hours. It worth to mention that technical support from Veeam can assist you to get sharper RPOs than the default ones. So by default, I think it's 4 or 8 hours RPO, but with technical support, they can enable you to get to 1 hour RPO on the Express version. Another thing, if you want to enable self-service to your end users, that's also not one of the possibilities of the Express edition, and searches are also a bit limited in the Express, but we always have the Flex or Premium edition. And also on the monitoring, notification, and reporting side, there are some limitations on the Express side, but if you want a special feature or something detailed, we can talk about it later on, or just contact us and we can determine which edition is the best one for your use case. And of course, by default, the backup storage from Veeam Data Cloud is Azure only. But like Jevon already mentioned, there is always an exit strategy with Veeam, or data flexibility, portability, and so on. So if you, for whatever the reason, you would stop with Veeam Data Cloud, you can get your data out of the systems and with you at the end of the subscription. Role-based access encryption is of course supported. Service level immutability is available in the product. So I would say it's a great product. This is the link, but you will get the slide deck also afterwards, so I don't have to scan it, but it's a public document. Another thing which is quite nice, it's a SaaS offering, so Veeam has total control on the, let's say, infrastructure side of the product, so they can regularly add features and release new features. There is a knowledge base article which is constantly updated. There is a link here to the article where you can see every build, every release, and what's new in it concerning the product and the additions of the products. So and you can subscribe to it to get the updates of the document. Quite new, I think. We only got the webinar yesterday. Veeam Data Cloud is available through reselling, of course, but it will become available. It's not at this moment, but it will be, let's say, before the end of the year. It should be available, but it will become available also through the service provider part of channel from Veeam. So let's say as of next year, Veeam service providers will be able to also sell Veeam Data Cloud through the hosting partnership. Veeam kept it quite simple, so you won't need to sign another contract, another VRA contract. No, it will be attached to your existing contract. So the levels you have in your existing contract will be transferred to the pricing levels for the VDC, because it will be a different price point or a different price point between what you already have in your VRA, the other regular Veeam backup and replication products and offerings, and the Veeam SaaS, of course, as Veeam is responsible for the full infrastructure and keep the product running. It will be a bit higher price point, but it still is the same way of using and reporting it. So VDC Flex, for instance, will be 2.5 points per user. VDC Express will take up 4 points, and the Premium 5.5 points. Reporting will be done separately, well, within the same reporting, but different amounts, and the pricing, but you get the advantages of the level of your existing contract. And once you start using VDC, the reports you do there, the points will count also to your possible higher level and lower pricing level than of everything. But no extra VRA to sign. Yeah. Pricing points will be announced very soon, before the end of the year, but just a quick heads up that it's coming to the hosting side of the business too. A nice page on the Veeam partner portal. I don't know if everyone knows it. There is a special page or a dedicated page on product launches. That's linked to it. You see already there's a section for all new things and with info from webinars recorded from the Veeam IQ and the partner trainings that are available there and facts and so on. So a nice place to go have a look about new releases. And they are always announced before they are available. A small last part from my side. It's not part of the VDC, Veeam Data Cloud, but it's a very recent or new product also for Veeam, and it's Veeam Data Vault version 2. Version 2 released in, I think, mid-November. What it is yeah, I don't know if they like it at Veeam, but people say it's the wasabi from Veeam sometimes. So it's cloud storage, fully offered and managed by Veeam. It's Azure Blob based, but it's just as easy to use as what we should call a wasabi or so on. But now you can have your block storage, your object storage also from Veeam directly with the Veeam Vault. There are two versions, Foundation Advanced. It's more about the geo redundancy and the fair use policy. So with Advanced, it's unlimited read and restores. With Foundation, it's fair use, which means approximately 20% of your total capacity can be read from it. Or data locality with the Foundation's country-based. Advanced is data center based from Azure. Of course, immutability and encryption is available within the product. So just wanted to mention that one as we're talking about some SaaS or cloud-based offerings from Veeam. There's also a dedicated piece in the Product Launch Resource Center about that Veeam Vault version 2. So just if you get the slide deck, just go to the link and that's it for me. Quick look at questions, but I don't see nothing. Then I would say it's over to you, Marnix.
Okay, Thierry, thank you very much. Just some slides on how to position or sell Microsoft 365 backup solutions from Veeam, regardless of it's self-hosted or hosted by Veeam, because the approach is for 95% actually the same. So, and we had a lot of questions from our resellers, from our partners, that then when they are approaching end customers, they get some well, not only concerned, but also, okay, is it really necessary? I find it hard to sell it because, well, it's Microsoft, so it's already protected and stuff like that. So we thought it was a good idea to just give you some hooks and some possible entry points, so that you might be able to sell it a little bit easier. Next slide, please. So while I was traveling from my vacation yesterday, because I just returned to Belgium, and I can tell you it's cold here. I had a 6 hours and a half flight, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have a short time slot tomorrow to talk about how to sell Veeam Backup, and how should I approach that? And actually, it's not that difficult. Next slide. It's all about creating awareness about what Microsoft actually does, what Microsoft actually is responsible for, and what the end customer or the partner, being you, is responsible for. Next slide. And it's all about the shared responsibility model. It's not something that Veeam or any other backup provider has created. No, it's actually information that's available on the Microsoft website, what describes where you as an end customer or as a managed service provider or as a reseller is responsible for, and where Microsoft is responsible for. And if you look at the thin line between the responsibilities, then it clearly states that you as a reseller or the end customer is responsible for maintaining the data integrity. Next slide. And although it's true that I think that Jevon also mentioned it in his slide deck, that Microsoft has come up with its own backup solution or additional data protection solution for Microsoft 365 data. I think you need to ask yourself the question, or ask the customer the question, do you really want to put all your eggs in one basket? Because that's what you're actually doing. And for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, it's still better to make sure that those responsibilities and those vulnerabilities are not within the same basket and are maybe on separate locations or separate platforms or separate data repositories. Next slide. And with any sales cycle, when you go to a customer, when you go to a prospect, it's all about identifying the customer pain points and possible gains. For example, do they have a backup solution in place? Are they aware of what the backup approach by Microsoft is actually doing? Have they ever heard of that shared responsibility model? Do they know that there's a line between what Microsoft is responsible for and what the end customer or you as a reseller or a managed service provider is responsible for? Maybe you can show some real-life examples. I think there are some news articles on a daily basis that are being published on the internet of data breaches, data loss, and the potential impact it has for a company. Next slide. What you could also do is educate them on the why and what, why a backup solution is necessary. Explain the built-in backup features of Microsoft, and also illustrate the limitations of the Microsoft 365 built-in features. And of course, educate them on the benefits of using a backup solution like Veeam, what could bring as an added value to them. Next slide. And depending on the type of customer or prospect you're approaching to, there's of course a different scenario or a different approach that you can do. If it's a new prospect, then it's probably more about positioning you as a new vendor or as a new service provider, what you bring to the table as added value, the experience you have, maybe some reference cases you have. But if it's, for example, a customer that is already using service from another service provider, then it would be better to maybe educate them on the difference that you can bring to the table, or the added quality or the added service that you can bring to the table. Maybe the customer is using a competing product. And then it's all about, okay, what makes Veeam unique in this value proposition? Or maybe it's already an existing managed services customer. Maybe you're already providing other managed services to the customer. And then you can maybe hitch on the fact that you're providing good services, that you're always working between the agreed on SLAs, and that there's a good understanding between both companies. Next slide. What you will definitely also hear when you're going into a sales cycle in selling Microsoft 365 backup solutions are a number of common objections. For example, we don't believe an additional backup solution is required. Then it's all about the shared responsibility model again. Maybe they already have a competing product in place. Then you can emphasize on the added value that Veeam brings to the table. Maybe they say, but yeah, backups are too expensive. Microsoft 365 already costs a lot of money. Just putting more money on the table just for backups, it's not something that we can afford. Well, then definitely you need to educate them on the cost of losing data. Maybe they have an in-house solution. Maybe they have something that created themselves. They're dumping archives or whatever. It probably will be a manual process, time-consuming, prone for errors, so it could definitely be some optimization there. Or maybe the customer doesn't think that the data isn't that valuable for them. And then it's all about, again, educating them of the costs of data loss. Next slide. As I said, it's not that different from any other sales cycle. There's a general approach in every sales cycle, starting with empathy and understanding what lives at the customer side. What are his or her concerns? What issues do they have currently? Step 2, showcase Veeam's value proposition. What does Veeam bring to the table? Highlighting key features, providing real-life examples and case studies. Maybe in step 3, you can offer a trial or a demo, or point to some reference cases that you might have within other customers. And step 4, don't stop at that point, but provide ongoing support, offering resources, assistance, and make sure that the customer success and satisfaction is guaranteed. And I think that's actually my last slide. So, Ruben, if there are no more questions, it's back to you.
Well, maybe I see in the Q&A there is one question, but I'm looking more at Jevon, if he has some insights on it. The question is, if Microsoft Teams will be supported in the near future for the Express flavor or not, or when?
I'd imagine that they will bring it in at some point. There's been nothing explicit from Microsoft at this stage, but you know, they got their first version of the offering of their own MBS out in August this year. Having Teams and incorporating that into the solution seems like a natural step, but there's nothing to that effect in terms of any ETA around when that will be.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? We still have some time left. I don't see anything coming into the chat box, so I think everything is clear. A big thank you to our speakers, Jevon, Thierry, and Marnix, but also thanks to all our attendees for joining us today. As Thierry already mentioned, you may expect an email from us, including the slide deck and the link to the recording. If you would have any additional questions, our contact details are on the screen and on the last slide. So always welcome to contact us with your questions. That's about it. So thanks again for joining, and have a nice rest of the day.